In the past few months in particular, Sam has been integrating, not what you would call consciously, like many of you do, but he's been integrating more of the essence of the divine, which includes, but it is not limited to, Tobias. He's becoming more and more aware that there is a energy, a consciousness flowing into him, changing the nature of his own reality, giving him insights, giving him awarenesses that he never had before. He and I are talking on a regular basis, but he doesn't know yet how to define me as Tobias. He just knows there is another part of himself that he's becoming more familiar with, more comfortable with, and therefore inviting that part to participate with him in his life. Whereas so many of you come from a background where you started to open up, but you held that part of your divine off somewhere else. You didn't allow it to make its entrance here to earth. You didn't want it to be distorted by the energies of earth or manipulated by other humans. Perhaps its energy stolen or taken away by others. Instead, right now, Sam is very open. He doesn't have those kind of fears. So he's allowing the divine to integrate. He doesn't know the terms yet. He will find many of them soon on the Crimson Circle website, the Cryon website, and other websites. He's going to read extensively about Jung to give him a background in cosmic consciousness or the awakening of the soul. So he's allowing the integration to take place, and it's an amazing and sometimes frightening revelation for him. But just as much, dear Shambra, just as much I am integrating with him. I am becoming more aware of the being called Sam. I'm becoming more aware of its human tendencies and its human needs. I'm allowing myself to come closer in than a spirit or an oversoul normally does. Partly because there is a lack of invitation from the human, partly because even the oversoul fears coming too close. So there is an integration on my part as well. You could say on one hand that Sam is opening to allow me into him, an earthly physical body. It can also be said that I am opening to receiving Sam in the spirit realms, allowing the essence of the human to join me, to join the oversoul on these realms. There's a brilliant lesson in this. A lesson for each and every one of you here today. Because so often, the oversoul will create an expression of itself into the human realms, but then will maintain a distance from it. So often, the oversoul creates the human entity and finds it difficult to connect with it. The veil goes two ways. Definitely goes two ways. Sometimes the oversoul does this because it doesn't want to interfere with the human existence of itself. Other times because it fears getting too close and getting sucked into this thing called human reality. Other times, parts of the oversoul are so wounded and twisted. Some of these parts of the oversoul remain in the near earth realms, caught in their own horrors and their own hell, that they are somewhat oblivious to this thing called the human living on earth. So there's a great disassociation between the spirit, between the oversoul, between the other aspects of the entity itself, and with the human on earth. How often have we seen and felt on our side where there is a disassociation between the soul and the human, where sometimes the soul actually resents or rejects that human expression of itself, turns its back on it. Indeed, as souls can do that. Turn its back on that human expression. And how does that human on earth feel? Unworthy, unloved, unneeded. As you do your work on earth, the work of consciousness change and evolution, there's a parallel work going on our side. The awakening and the reintegration of the souls to bring them back into wholeness. The souls that have had human incarnations, that have been wounded, broken, that have been raped, that have been imprisoned, that are so tormented that even their soul cannot look at them. As you are doing your work, and it comes first, it leads the way. As you do your work, there's work taking place here on our sides, bringing souls back to their human expressions. Not just human expressions from this lifetime, but expressions that are buried in the soil of the earth. Expressions that are wandering in the near earth realms, bringing them back together. My experiences with Sam are giving me new insights, and there will be books, giving me new insights in the relationship between the human creation, the human expression, and its sovereignty, along with the oversoul of the being, the awareness of all of these different levels taking place at one time is not just up to the human, it's up to the soul as well. And dear Shambra, you're the standards of leading the way on earth, and to calling back your own essence, your own soul, your own self, and to allowing it to integrate with you on earth and encouraging you to integrate with it in the other realms. Bringing yourself back together. Sometimes humans cry out at night. They pray at night. They pray for understanding and guidance. They pray to mend a broken heart, to clear up confusion in their human mind. And they wonder why nobody appears to hear them. Sometimes it's the soul. The soul is either tormented in its own way or turned its back. This is the new energy. You are the ones that are changing that old dynamic. Bringing the essence and the spirit here to earth and allowing the soul to bring your awareness to it in the other realms. This is where heaven and earth meet. This is the new consciousness. What an honor to have Sam here. What an honor for Sam to invite me into his earthly existence. What a pleasure for me to have him here in the other realms.